We're just going to see the difference between Hardie plank and rough sawn cedar. The Hardie plank is going to be acrylic painted, and the rough sawn cedar is going to be stained, of course, just like our property. Now you'll notice this is one continuous structure. We have 2 units that have rough sawn cedar and 2 units that have Hardie, and of course the difference is that our units have a homogeneous color standard and these have a heterogeneous color standard. This is rough sawn cedar. There's the Hardie right next to each other. Get you a couple other shots. There's another Hardie right next to this other, to the beige Hardie. So these units obviously don't have to have a continuous standard, unlike the current proposal that we're trying to change at Lakeport Cluster. And the one next to it has rough sawn cedar. Let's see if I can sample that here. Now some will note that there's a that's rough sawn cedar there. Some will note that there is obviously a difference between the homogeneous cutter pattern that we have, or the homogeneous cutter pattern that Lakeport has, and the heterogeneous cutter pattern that this cluster has. This cluster is Oak Springs and Reston. And the funny thing is, when you call up Olympic Stain, their helpline, and you ask them if to the untrained eye, if you can tell the difference between a freshly stained house and something that was stained 3 or 4 years ago, they said yes, of course there's a dramatic difference because of the fresh stain. If you ask them if there's a difference between something that was painted acrylic on wood, on rough sawn Hardie, and something that was stained 3 or 4 years ago, they will tell you on an untrained eye that it's very difficult to tell what was painted with acrylic paint and what was stained 3 or 4 years ago. And so that goes to tell you, no matter what, there's always going to be some. The difference in shade has more to do with the timing difference than the actual difference between acrylic paint and stain. And so let's visit some other properties around Reston to give you an idea of what else is going on in terms of Hardie mix and rough sawn cedar.